Hello, my fitties. Today I am here with Isabella, who is Steak and Butter Gal from Instagram and also on YouTube. We connected over the carnivore community, and this is our first time basically getting together to have a virtual, casual coffee date, if you will, although it's like 8 p.m. where it is in both of our times. So yeah, you get to tune in to us chatting. It's going to be like an informal sort of interview, get to know Bella, how she first discovered the carnivore diet, what she's doing now. And something that's honestly drew me to her as well is the fact that she was a performer and she attended Juilliard. And if you are an OG follower of mine, I remember blogging about auditioning to Juilliard and also trying out for a whole host of other musical schools when I was deciding on what kind of post-secondary school I wanted to enroll in. And then I went to a university in Canada for my acting degree. So we're going to get together. We're going to talk to Bella. Bella, hello. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Linda, for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you.
I'm excited too. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? How would you describe yourself?
So I guess I see myself as a pianist and violinist, but also as someone who's extremely passionate about the carnivore diet and how that can really, really impact our health, our mental health, and just our overall happiness and productivity.
Mm-hmm. Um, what initially drew you to the carnivore diet in particular?
So initially, I approached the carnivore diet as a vegan, and I switched over from the vegan diet to the carnivore diet almost overnight. It was overnight. And I was vegan for 6 years. And by the time I was vegan, fourth, fifth, sixth years, it was pretty much kind of the worst time of my life. I I lost my period. And everyone who knows me personally knows that I was born to be a mom. So I
Mhm.
dream of having kids and I love kids. I have a little brother who's like 12 and I basically raised him. He's everything to me. So to not be able to have kids for couple years, it was already kind of a huge red flag for me. So I finally ended being on the vegan diet by the 6th year because I took a full panel blood test and my doctor just warned me how deficient I was in so many things. Um, I told her I didn't have my period, but she also said I was very low in vitamin D. I think my number was under 10. It was single digits.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I was just deficient in so many things that she told me you either have to start supplementing big time or just start incorporating some animal foods. So when she told me that, it was like a slap in my face back to reality like it's time to just stop being vegan. It's just not doing me any good. So that's when I went home and started researching, vegans like eating meat again. And then there were videos and content on vegans going carnivore. And I was like, what? There's such a thing as a carnivore diet. And that's when I became obsessed with researching and listening, watching more content on the carnivore diet. And that's when I discovered Joe Rogan and all of his interviews with carnivores or people who promote carnivore, including Sean Baker himself. I remember watching his podcast as well. So that already convinced me to just give carnivore diet a try. And with my personality, it's like super extreme, 100% all in,
Mm-hmm.
no moderation. So I just had to give the carnivore diet a try. And so here I am 22 months later, still
Yeah,
carnivore. Yeah.
2 more months. That would put you at November, December. So you started in December, January.
New Year's, so January 1st.
That was your New Year's resolution, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Um, so switching to vegan, I know you went from like zero to hero. Was there any guilt associated with that? Because I know that when we put ourselves in a habitual routine, it's almost like when we break that, we're sort of re-identifying with ourselves again, and it's murky waters for a lot of them. I know that a lot of vegans have experienced guilt, have experienced like, I don't really know what I'm gonna do, have experienced a lot of hate as
Mhm.
well, just for exploring something different. I mean, the
Mhm.
worst thing that could happen is you just go back to a vegan diet if the carnivore diet just doesn't work.
Yes.
But how was that transition to you? Was there the emotional aspect of that?
Yeah, the emotional aspect, it was, of course, very hard because when you're vegan, you kind of feel super proud, like you're the bigger person because you're not eating meat and you're doing the earth a huge favor ethically. So when I started like thinking about eating meat again, I felt guilty. Of course, I felt very guilty and I felt hesitant and I felt scared and very embarrassed to even tell anyone. So obviously, I didn't tell anyone the first few weeks of me starting the carnivore diet. But the single thing that pushed me to just do it, to just eat the meat, was the fact that I needed my period back. And I think it was just so important to me to have my period because I need to know that I can have kids. I need that peace of mind. And also because it's kind of healthy to have a normal period. So that just pushed me over the edge to just do it because I had such a strong feeling that if I were to eat meat again and animal fats, I would feel better.
Mhm. So what was the
Yeah,
first thing that you ate? Do you remember that episode? Tell us the story. Paint the
absolutely.
picture for us.
Yeah, so I went to my local Whole Foods, I remember, because I wanted to make sure that all of the foods I was eating for the first time were great quality.
Yeah.
I got Vital Farms eggs. That was the first thing that I got alongside some Kerrygold butter. Did my research, so I knew all the carnivores were a fan of these two brands. So, stick of Kerrygold, brought it home with the 12 eggs, and I cracked 2 eggs in my pan with some butter and I scrambled. So I did like a light scramble, and that's what I ate my first bite of non vegan foods. And I remember the very first bite, just tasting those flavors, I felt like I was elevating and I just felt like I was brought back to life.
Wow.
Yeah. I was dreaming about that exact dish, butter
Wow.
scrambled eggs. Yes, I was dreaming about that frequently right before I started eating carnivore. So I
It was
think that
like
was the reason.
it's like it was calling to you. It was like it's
Yeah.
almost like a little message from the universe, like, hey, you should try it.
Mhm. Yeah.
And was it what you expected?
Uh, it was better, way better.
Huh? That's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, yeah, it was amazing.
Was the transition because so eggs is like it's like I would say kind of is like halfway there. It's not like full on meat, but it's
Mhm.
it's like a vegetarian sort of
Yeah,
dish. So when was the next time you ate like meat?
like just the next day, I
Oh,
ate
okay.
yeah, I just was ready to do it all, so ground beef. But honestly, I really only stuck with beef, eggs, butter the first
Mm,
few months. But ground beef was the first actual meat, and I made sure that I think it was 80/20, so 80% lean, 20% fat. And I just cooked it in its own fat. I didn't add any butter. Sauteed it, ate that, and I was like, holy moly, this is what I have been missing. So
mm.
good. So yeah.
That is amazing. I know that you mentioned Joe Rogan. He recently
Yes.
had a podcast with Paul Saladino. I know that we briefly spoke about it. Did you manage to finish that episode?
Yeah, I finished it. I kind of played it in the background of my work. So I
Oh,
was kind of listening on
wow.
and off. I wasn't like
Okay.
100% paying attention. It's a long podcast, but
It
I
is a long
do.
podcast. And to be
Yeah.
honest, like if I were to try to do that, I wouldn't be able to absorb the information because Paul Saladino, he just spews information. Like he spews these terminology like it's everyday terms. And I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
wait. What are you saying? I have to concentrate on that. But I found it
Yeah.
to be very I found his research to be very insightful on linoleic acid and sorry, linoleic oils. Is it linoleic? Anyway, linoleic
Mhm.
fats and
Mhm.
stearic acid. So that's
Mhm.
something I think that's like one of the hotter topics in carnivore right now, where people are like, should we eat this? Should we not eat that? What are the quality of the fats? And I'm still doing my research on that right now.
Mhm.
Do you have any thoughts around that?
Yeah, I know that there was a period of time where the whole carnivore community was obsessed with this term PUFA, PUFAs.
I think we
Poly-
still are.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I'm
think
not
it's still
anymore.
that
So I
way.
guess I'm not paying attention to that. But polyunsaturated fats, like all of the carnivores, like were posting about it, discussing about it, kind of panicking over it because I think one thing that I felt was unnecessary was this whole panic over the amount of polyunsaturated fats in pork and chicken, because apparently the amounts is just a little bit higher than red meats, beef, lamb. So people suddenly felt like, oh, it's not healthy to eat that anymore. And there were people who also felt like it's no longer healthy to be eating fish. So yeah, I remember making a video on it, and in preparing to make that video, I was researching a lot on it. Honestly, if you are just eating foods that fit in the carnivore diet, it's not really an issue or something to be worried about. This whole linoleic PUFAs omega 6 to omega 3 thing. It's mostly when you're eating like plant and seed oils, processed
Mhm.
oils, plant
Vegetable
foods,
oils.
vegetable oils. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. I think it'd be asking it overwhelm the person if they're starting like a carnivore or keto diet to have to worry about little nittier, pickier things. I think that if you're more well versed, very experienced in carnivore and keto, and you want to take it to the next optimum level, like be my guest. I think you would feel amazing um,
Hmm.
if making that transition. But it's
Hmm.
like it's you don't have to get. There's one thing to want to do it, but then another thing to be scared and have that propel you to do
Hmm.
things. And I think that's with anything in life. Like if you're motivated by fear, that's one thing. But if you're motivated by inspiration, that's a whole other vibe. That's a whole other energy.
Hmm. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Yeah.
I would love to hear your endeavors into music. At what age did you know that it was your calling to go into music? And then what was it like going to Juilliard, like auditioning for Juilliard?
Yeah. I knew I wanted to pursue music professionally last year of high school, I would say.
Oh, wow,
All
that's
throughout,
pretty late.
I guess it is pretty late, but all throughout high school, I kind of knew that, I'm spending all of this time on music. I probably will end up pursuing it professionally or at least in college. But it was last year of high school when I really, really wanted it. Like, I want to audition and in some great schools, and I want to study outside of California. Like, I want to leave my family for once. So I actually didn't audition at Juilliard because I was set to go to Europe for undergrad.
Oh,
I was going to the Netherlands,
oh no way.
Rotterdam.
For what?
Yeah, that was my initial plan at least, and I was going to go
Study
there
what?
to violin.
Okay, all the way in Netherlands. Wow. Why
Yes.
Netherlands?
So I knew a professor. She was the professor of my professor growing up, of the
Uh,
teacher that I was studying with ever since I was a child. So my teacher back at home recommended this professor, and she invited me to just study with her
wow.
in the Netherlands. So I was set to go, right? And I was like, oh, I'm so excited to be studying violin. But wait, I also want to study piano? And so I was like, I last minute had a conversation with my piano teacher back at home. And she
Mhm.
was like, there are still schools in New York City that are accepting late auditions live. She said,
Wow.
consider it, just consider it. And the school just so happened to be the Manus School. At that time, I think it was called the Manus Conservatory, but they're really forward thinking. So they've now conjoined with the new school. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the new school. It's that famous school in the Friends TV show, but they have conjoined with Manus, but they were accepting late auditions. So I applied and I went to New York City and played, and they accepted me. So I was like, thank God I have an option to choose between violin or piano. And I decided to just go to New York City because I fell in love with New York City when I went to audition. Yeah.
Where are you originally from?
Los Angeles.
Oh, so you moved from the West Coast to the East Coast.
Yes.
That must have what was that change like?
It was just like a flip of the coin, the exact opposite, just polar opposites. Where I grew up in Los Angeles, it's kind of no action whatsoever. Absolutely no city life.
Ah,
It Yeah, it is the most boring town, but it is famous for its amazing weather year round. It's basically t-shirt and jeans weather every single day of the year.
yep.
And the education there is great, great public schools, which is why my mom chose that place when she took us for the education. But there was just no city life. And the moment I got to New York City, it was like a whole new world. And I was obsessed. I fell in love. And the inspiration that I felt from that energy and city life of New York City and the culture, of course, I just fell in love. So I made the decision. And I think it's so important that you choose wisely the city that you're going to study at, because that really affects the student, the location, the vibes of the city. So yeah, it was different, very different, but I loved it.
So you flew all the way to New York for this audition?
Yes, yes. For a
Wow.
couple days just to audition there, and then I went back home and I waited for the results, and then they sent me the results like a month later, or maybe even weeks later because I did it late. But yeah.
Okay, wow. For me, I live in Toronto, so I'm mostly in the East Coast. I basically lived here all my life.
Yeah.
And I long to visit the West Coast again. I visited Vancouver back in like May 2018 for the West Coast, and I fell in love with the lifestyle. You're right when you talk about it being a flip of the coin, it really is different. I feel that in the East Coast, especially in New York and also Toronto, more so in New York, it's more business over the lifestyle. Whereas I feel like in the West Coast, it's lifestyle first, and then you fit in the business around it. And the business is only like a small percentage of your holistic life. And that part really resonates with me. So that's why I'm so adamant on moving to the West Coast. I'm actually hoping to visit LA sometime because some of my favorite people like yourself come from there.
Yeah. Yeah, I really hope that you can visit. And I have yet to visit Canada. Um, yeah. My boyfriend actually loves that place, so he says we should go together. So maybe
Oh,
we can
for
go
sure.
visit you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
oh my God, that would be
Yeah.
amazing. Come to Toronto. Because I mean, Toronto is just, I mean, when you think Canada, you think Toronto a lot of the times. But also, if you want like a true Canadian experience, and
Mhm.
I've heard, and this is only what I've heard because I've never traveled anywhere, and less so even more because of COVID. Um, like go to Banff, go to a small town that nobody knows about to really feel the Canadian culture. Because I will tell you, Toronto is so multicultural. You're not really gonna feel Canadian here. You're gonna feel like
Oh,
everything because we got the Chinese, we got Africans, we got Indian, we got a lot of Pakistanis. We're like
yeah.
the most multicultural city in the world.
Mm,
After that experience, visit like Newfoundland or like a small town in
mm,
Nova Scotia.
mm. Yeah, would love to.
Yeah. Awesome. You mentioned also having a brother who's age 12. That is quite the age difference.
Yes,
What
it
was it like
is.
growing up?
Well, I remember the years leading up to his birth, or my mom getting pregnant, just begging my mom, please, can I have a baby brother, like, or a baby sister? I just want you to have a baby because I was obsessed with babies. And my mom just suddenly got pregnant, and it was a boy. So firstly, I have an older sister who is like 5 years older than me. So I'm 24. I think she's 29. I have a younger sister. She is 2 years younger. So
Oh, wait,
she's
are you only a
22.
year older than me? Oh my gosh, I'm 23
You're 23.
and you're
Wow.
24. Holy, wow.
Yeah. Wow. We're like the same age. What
I
is,
know. I always thought you were
yeah.
older. I always thought you were, I don't know, because you have a maturity about you and the way that you compose yourself. Maybe it's just the performer in you that is, I don't know, it's like very well composed. It's very well put together. I would have thought you were older.
Thank you. Yeah. I do get that a lot. Yeah. Yeah. So my younger sister is 22 and my brother is 10 years younger than me, or young. I'm not even sure anymore, 12 or 13. But I've always seen him as like the baby brother, the baby prince of the family. When he was first born, it was like changed my life. His
Mm.
whole birth and presence in our lives, in my family's lives, really just it changed all of our lives. When you have a baby like that, when you're 14 years old, that's when he was born. I was 14. I, like it's just the best gift,
Oh,
and I was hoping for that, for so long. And when my mom gave me Tommy, it just changed my life. I felt like he really brought out just the personality in me. I would not be who I am without growing up with someone like him. He is the most fun little boy in the world. Yeah.
that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And note that he is the only boy
He's
among you
spoiled.
all.
Yeah. Yeah. It's three girls. My parents were trying for boys because, in Chinese culture, having a boy is quite important. So they
Mhm.
really wanted
Very
a boy.
underrated too.
Yeah. Do you have a brother?
I do. We are
Okay.
12 years apart.
12 years?
12 years, yeah.
Wow. Is he older or younger?
He's younger, he's younger. So I'm the eldest.
Oh,
Hey,
wow.
I'm
Okay.
the eldest. Eldest tends to get the most crap.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a
Hmm.
thing. Were
Hmm.
you born in China?
I was in Shenzhen. Yeah.
Oh, yes, you told me. That's a newer area in
Yeah,
China
it's
now.
yeah, it's newer, right next to Hong Kong.
That's very cool. It's like Hong Kong's little sister.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people speak Cantonese there in
Oh,
Shenzhen because of
do
Hong
you
Kong.
speak
I
Cantonese
don't,
or you speak Mandarin?
just Mandarin.
Just Mandarin.
Poorly too. Yeah.
我们是中国人。
我们是中国人.
My cousins always make fun of me every time I speak Mandarin because I have this like Canadian English sort of
Yeah.
accent on it.
Yeah, I have a huge accent. For some reason, people tell me I have a Taiwanese accent when I speak Mandarin. So
It's
I'm
interesting. I
not
don't
sure
know
why.
what that sounds like, but
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
know.
interesting.
Yeah. So you have just one brother.
I have one brother and I have a little sister. She's entering high school. She's like the same age as Tommy right now.
I see. So
Yeah.
your brother is even younger.
My brother is in grade 6, I think.
Okay.
Holy. And he's tall for his age.
Wow. My brother's going to grade 6. So
No,
they're the same
wait.
age.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're what?
How old is your brother?
Oh, my brother's in okay, when you're in grade 6, you turn
Like,
12, like 12.
yeah,
12?
12 or 13. I can't even keep track of Tommy's age anymore.
Yeah.
He's
Wow.
forever like 5 years old to me. So
Yeah, I know. I just want them to stay small. Please stay
I
small.
know, right?
You know you get old when you hear them say, when I was young.
I
You're like,
know, right? Yeah.
so I see a lot of you loving kids, you loving
Yeah.
Simba, which is your dog, and then you loving Tommy a lot. So tell me a little, talk to me a little bit about that. The
Yeah.
want to nurture and be a mother.
Yeah. I don't know where it comes from, but I guess being an older sister my whole life to Melody, my younger sister, I just always felt a responsibility to make sure everyone is fine, everyone is doing fine in the family, including my mom, my older sister, my younger sister, and definitely Tommy. I think it really came out when Tommy was born because my mom actually had Tommy when she was 45.
Okay.
So seeing my mom age and uh, just not be as vibrant and energetic as she was when I was young, I really wanted to help, and I helped her a lot in just small tasks and chores like changing diapers, bottle feeding Tommy, helping with the cleanup, playing with him a lot all throughout the day. And also, I remember the moments where I'm like cradling him when he's crying and cradling him to sleep, singing to him. And that's when I really felt like, oh, I love being a mom. I love taking care of babies. And it got to the point where Tommy was just my whole life. Like I just wanted the best for him and I wanted to be the best sister for him, to him. And yeah, I think it really came out when he was born and just seeing him grow up. Also, my friends always commented like, wow, you're such a good sister and you're pretty much like his mom.
Yeah.
And also, you know how my last name is Ma?
Uh,
Dude, everyone in high school would call me Ma, like mama, as if I'm their, mom, the designated friend in that group who's the mother role. I was always that person, the motherly friend. Yeah.
I wonder if you take personality tests.
I remember taking it years ago, with a bunch of letters, right? I don't remember.
Oh, there's many, but the one you're
Oh,
talking about right now is a 16 personalities
yeah,
test.
that one. And I remember it matched with Steve Jobs.
So that's an introvert, something, something, something.
Okay, probably. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not sure the exact
Interesting.
letters. Yeah.
Um, it just strikes me like it's almost as if you became the mother of Tommy. You became the mother when your mom started breaking down a little bit and not
Mhm.
having her most vital self.
Yeah, yeah. Being a mom again, I can't imagine how hard it was for her. She already raised three girls on her own in America, in a foreign country, and seeing her have another newborn baby boy, I just felt this responsibility to help her out as much as I can. So the moment I got back from school, I would just spend my whole day taking care of him, at the same time juggling, practicing piano and violin. So it was a lot of fun, but also I remember how tired my mom was, and seeing how tired she was, I really wanted to just help.
Mm. Wow. Did you feel like you had to grow up? Maybe that's where you get where I get the vibe of you being mature, that you had to grow up at a young age doing that.
Probably. Yeah. But I never felt like I didn't have a childhood. I had a great childhood, although a lot of that was spent practicing because my mom was the tiger mom. But I did have a good childhood because I had my sisters at least. So I'm so glad that I had my sisters growing up. I was very close with Melody, my younger sister, more so than my older sister. And I remember just we would pretend like we were fashionistas, and
Ah,
yeah,
that's very
seriously.
creative.
Yes, and we made up our own language.
What? How do
Yes.
you understand each other?
No, it was so much fun. I still remember. So Nancy, my older sister, she had her high school friend over, and they were like cool kids. And they walked by the garage. The garage door was open, and it was me and my little sister standing in the garage just saying gibberish, like pure gibberish, like and she'd be like
Ah!
and then the friend was just appalled, and she ran and told Nancy, and Nancy asked, "What the hell were you guys doing?" I was like, "What?" I was so embarrassed, but we basically had our own language.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of fun. I remember playing pretend games with my friends all the time, and now it's like,
Oh
well,
yeah,
now
pretend
you're an
games.
acting major, duh.
Oh my god, it
But
makes sense.
yeah, it makes sense. It's all coming together, and
Mhm.
we were pretending like, oh, I was a hamster, and we had Mrs. Brussels sprouts, and we hated her. She would massage us with hammers. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
That's so cute.
Yeah,
Mhm.
thank you. So back to the carnivore diet. I know we're jumping all over the place. What's one thing that you wish that people in the carnivore sphere knew?
Hmm. Just about the what to eat, like the whole lifestyle diet.
Lifestyle. Anything about the lifestyle?
Yeah, let's see. I mean, I guess the past 22 months, like being so immersed on Instagram, YouTube, in the carnivore community, I just feel like um I mean, I feel like everyone is doing their own thing. Everyone is so eager to learn and
Mm.
to improve what they're doing and to try new things. I guess it's the fat, that's why I advocate it so much every day. I feel like most of the issues that people have to deal with, maybe during adaptation stage, or maybe randomly in the middle of nowhere, when they're like months and months in the carnivore diet, and suddenly they feel loss of energy or insomnia. It's usually because they don't eat enough fat. I just feel like people don't know just how much fat they can eat and should eat to actually feel their best. When I say eat more fat, people probably think like, oh, one more tablespoon, but
Oh,
I
no, no,
mean like
no,
another
honey.
stick of butter.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember being on the plane on Air Canada line, and everybody had like a little we were going everybody had a little butter tab with
Mm,
their meal. And I
mm,
see a lot of people like, kind of like throwing it out or not using it. And
mhm,
so I asked the flight attendant, I said, okay, I have a very weird request, but if you see anybody upon collecting the end of the meal not wanting their butter, can you just collect them for me and like give them to me? And
I love that.
he looked at me, he put he looked at me and he was like, "Yes, ma'am." And then when he returned, I think he was a little bit timid with the amount that he thought was a lot because he came back with four. And I was, and they were like, you know, those Starbucks, like tiny, tiny little butter packets. I said thank you. And he just gave me like a very puzzled look. He's like, are you sure? Because I think he was trying to put together like my frame, my size, and
Mhm,
the amount of fat I was asking.
mhm,
I think he was trying to put the two together and he was very confused.
mhm.
So I don't know. That was quite entertaining.
That's so hilarious. That's something I would totally do. Just
Yeah. Well,
scraps, like
you
give it
started
all.
you started a whole like movement in the carnivore sphere. The movement being steak and butter, obviously, steak and butter gal. And the egg tart pudding thing,
Mm,
which is, I think, such a classic in Asian dishes. I remember my mom just making it all the time growing up. They would put 酱油, which is soy sauce, with a little
right.
bit of tang, which is egg, and a little
Yeah.
bit of butter, and they would just steam that. And actually, my dad grew up on a farm, so they were very frugal with the amount of food they would eat. So when they were able to have eggs at all, which is like one of their rarer meats
Mm,
from their own homegrown chicken, they would basically just have congee or like a bowl of rice, and their
mm,
main dish would be that egg pudding. So they would scoop the egg pudding onto the rice and mix it together to have some sort of sustenance, some sort of flavor. And now
mm,
you're making like a hot thing back now in carnivore, which is so cool.
mm. Yeah, it's just something that I grew up on. It's just what my mom cooked me every morning for breakfast. 蒸鸡蛋, steamed
Yes,
egg.
yes.
Yeah, and she would use chicken stock, chicken broth, basically,
Hmm.
as the liquid, and also drizzle on 酱油 and
Mayo, a little bit of mayo, sesame.
yes, exactly. Yeah, just those
Yeah.
two. Right.
Yeah. What else was, oh, I have a weird question for you. Would you ever try the balut egg? If
Yes,
given
wait, is that the century old whatever?
No, okay, so the
No,
century
no.
egg is black and it's pitan.
Yeah,
Have you tried
yeah,
that before?
皮蛋. Yes, I also ate that with congee.
Yeah, I loved
皮蛋.
it. Pitan
Yeah,
so,
right, exactly. Yes.
but the
Oh, but
balut balut, yeah,
balut?
it's the Philippine
Okay.
one, which is half fertilized.
Right. I see a lot of mukbangs eating that as like almost a shocking type of stunt. But I would totally want to try it.
I think you
Definitely.
would like it. Yeah, I mean, given
Have you
that you
tried it?
Oh yeah, many times. It's my
Oh,
favorite egg. It's my most favorite egg. It's rare to find, and it's a little more on the expensive side. And depending
yeah.
on what stage of the embryo to fetus the egg is at, sometimes it'll be
Mm,
more yolky, and I like that yolky and creamy. And then sometimes you get more muscly. It's a little more firm. So there have been times where I was kissing the beak.
mm.
I have videos of this on my YouTube.
Oh,
And then sometimes I'll see like a part of the face or a part of the leg. And then other times I basically just see more of the embryo, which is more creamy. And personally, that's my favorite. I like the
wow.
creamier part of it. It's very cool, very tasty, very juicy. And given the fact that you eat raw organs, I think you would love, and you could tackle this no problem.
Yeah, I guess I just have to find where I can find this.
Probably Asian markets,
Okay.
New York, you might have a Chinatown.
Yeah, I do. Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah,
Whoa, nice.
I would love to see that.
I would love to show that.
Do you have any questions for me? I know that I've been asking you a lot.
Yeah, so I want to know just your whole technique of practicing for, whatever you are preparing for as since you are an actress. Are you more focused on movies or live
Oh my
performing,
gosh, I get this
film?
question. I get this question so much.
Yes.
I'm open to everything and anything because I love the craft. What I don't like is the industry.
Yeah.
I think you might know what I'm talking about when I say that a lot of artists are taken for granted by the
Mhm.
industry. They are treated like they are disposable, and they're very replaceable. And you are always at the mercy of somebody else's schedule. And
Mm.
they can fire you at an instant because there are that many people willing to want your spot. So that's what I
Yeah.
don't like about the industry. And being the humanitarian that I am, I know that every artist is evolving and every artist has something to give. There is nobody like you.
Mm.
Nobody. You have a talent, you have a light, and it deserves to be shared. And the industry can be so hard hitting on artists. So I practice the craft. I will always practice the craft. I will always continue to train, do improv, try theater, try live, try film, just hone in that. It's a sense of creativity for me, and I feel like that brings me life as well.
Mhm.
um, but going
Mm.
into the industry right now is not a priority for me. I'm open to everything. I'm open to anything.
Mhm.
Especially like when there's smaller group films, it's a lot more done from the heart. It's a lot more
Mm.
done from out of joy and hey, let's do this, because not because we want the fame or money or anything like that, but let's do it because like it's just fun. It's more casual. It's not this cutthroat thing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Right.
that's my stance on it. That's my stance. And I still
Wow.
love singing and dancing as well. It's just that I didn't my university didn't have musical theater. And also I practiced piano when I was growing up. I went all the way up to level 9.
Nice. Yeah, I heard you sing on your stories and I was so moved, so impressed. You have a talent in singing.
Thank
Like, you should
you.
share your voice on your YouTube channel.
I do sometimes on the occasion. If
Okay.
you scroll back in some of my very old videos, I have some
Yeah.
videos of me just jamming out and singing. But this means so much coming from you. Like you are so
No,
talented on the
literally,
violin and
no.
yes, absolutely. And I feel like you getting into Juilliard is I have very high regards for Juilliard. They're very
Mhm.
top notch, I feel like, and they only have I don't know what 500, 600 students in the entire school. I just and you getting into the master's program, that's amazing. I've seen some master classes on YouTube from Juilliard, and it's it's like wow, the professors really know what they're talking about, and the
Mhm.
talent is on a whole nother level. So
Mhm.
you're very talented, very very
Yeah.
talented. And sometimes what I feel like you should, if you're willing,
Mhm.
to do is um, film maybe like a 20-minute video of you just playing a violin piece or piano piece. And what I and a lot of people like doing is putting it in the background, when we're feeling anxious or when we're sweeping the floor and we just need something to listen to, when we're reading a book, things like that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I
Oh,
already do that for your Instagram, what, Opus Bella
yeah.
videos. I kind of do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
I always wish they were longer because I if they're so
Ah.
great. They're so refreshing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'll definitely do that. Okay.
No pressure.
Yeah, and you share your voice, 20 minutes of your singing so I can play
20
in the
minutes.
background.
Okay.
Or 10
Okay,
minutes
if
then.
you do it, then I'll do something.
Okay, okay, okay,
And then
for
we both
sure.
eat some steak and butter.
Yes, please.
Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to chat about today to make our night feel like it was complete?
Hmm.
This
I
was a
mean,
lot of fun.
yeah, I just feel like we really vibe with each other. I love your personality.
I know. I feel like we could, if we lived next door to each other, not
Yeah.
only would we be able to cook for each other, but like we'd also connect on a energetic level as well.
Yeah, I mean, I hear great things about New York City for drama and acting, so you should just visit one day and I would love to host you, meet you, cook
Oh,
for you.
thank you. I'm waiting for
Yeah.
the borders to open. I'm so okay. Can I just say something? You folks living in the US, you are very lucky.
Yeah, I
You
know.
have a Trader Joe's. You got lots of healthy, active people around you. I want to say, like, there's some gym on every corner, and
I know.
very big on health and fitness. Totally my vibe. Um, Also, what was the last thing? Thrive Market. My goodness.
Oh, I heard
Oh,
about that. Yeah.
Thrive Market is apparently like Costco meets Whole Foods.
Oh, really? Are their prices good?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Really?
I've been
Oh.
checking out Thrive Market, and there, when you join, a bunch of people have some sort of discount code, and you get your first
Cool.
month free or something like that. I don't know, like $60 discount or something like that. I feel like if you set one up, you would you would be like a really really great ambassador for them if that's something that
Hmm.
in
Mm.
alignment with you. But it's like Whole Foods at a cheap price,
Mhm.
and it's really really good quality, and they don't ship to Canada.
Oh, no. Do they have meat?
Um, Maybe not fresh meat.
Okay, because
Yeah.
that's pretty much what I
Yeah, that's
buy.
true. That's true. For the carnivore community, but for the keto community, they would find
Yes,
a
for the
lot of
ki like, for steak and butter guy, he could benefit from
probably
that.
he
Yeah,
could,
probably.
but there
Okay.
might be like a few like carnivore jerkies here and there. Maybe just like
Oh.
the 2 to 3 brands you might be able to find that you could just buy on repeat and for cheap.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah. Before we end,
Mhm.
what is one thing that you are really, really looking forward to between now and the end of the year?
Oh, well, the holidays are approaching, and here in New York City, it is very festive. So, what you asked what I'm looking forward to,
Mm.
definitely the Christmas market, like the holiday markets right outside where we live. It's like these like outdoor markets of like really festive, creative gifts,
Mhm.
but it's just shopping for myself.
Ah,
Just like spoiling time, but also to be able to go home to family, to celebrate
right.
holidays. Yeah, Thanksgiving's coming up. So,
Oh,
oh,
true. Yeah,
Halloween
where's
is
that?
coming up. Yeah, so just all these holidays, it's all coming.
It
So,
is coming. It's definitely
yeah.
different this year.
Of course, yeah. So, how about you? I want to know.
I'm looking forward to, I'm really looking forward to the cold. I love the cold. I love the snow.
Mm.
I'm looking forward to, I don't know. I'm looking forward. I'm going through a few things right now that are personally a little bit challenging
Mm.
on a spiritual and also emotional level. So I'm looking forward to sitting. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this, but sitting with the shitty feelings.
Oh.
And um, when I go through something hard, I either try to distract myself or I try to spiritually bypass it. Like, okay, let's not dabble on the negative, let's only do the positive. And that has worked on numerous occasions
Mm.
until it's not working anymore.
Mm. Mhm.
And something I'm learning and actively practicing right now is if I just sit with the feelings and let them say what they need to say, because
Mhm.
they're not going away, and they what they have to say is something very important, and I have to hear it. And if it's coming back to me so many times, it must be important. So if I let them sit beside me, if I hug them, if I hold their hand and let them, be with me, I know that we'll be able to make friends with each other. I can make friends with loneliness. I can make friends with feeling sad and depressed. I can make friends with this feeling of self-hatred, with this feeling of loathing or regret, or I should have done, or why did I do that? If I sit with her, she's not so scary and she's not so bad. She's not
Mhm.
so bad. I don't have to ostracize her. I don't have to bully her anymore.
Mm.
So that's something I'm looking forward to working on, as hard as that's going to be.
Wow. I find it helps to talk about it with people, like your friends, your family.
Mhm.
Like when I was going through a pretty dark time, I had a therapist. Like it really helped
Yeah.
just talking about it rather than, yes, it's very healthy to sit with it and to just feel it and absorb it all rather than blocking it out. I think that's the worst thing is to just block it
Block
out.
it out. Yeah.
Yeah, and pretend it's not there. But sometimes it also feels so relieving and freeing to be able to just
Talk to
say
someone.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And therapy is cool, to be honest.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not. it doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're willing, you're strong enough to want to feel better, to want better for yourself.
Yeah.
To be honest, I feel like everybody can use a therapist, whether you think you need it or not. You don't have
Yeah,
to
I
be a
agree.
specialist to get it.
Yeah.
I recently filmed a YouTube video, which hasn't been uploaded yet, or maybe by the time that this goes out, it probably already will. But it talks about don't wait for a crisis to get a therapist.
Mhm.
Get a therapist while things are still good, while you still love everything going, because that's when you take A, preventative measures, and B, that's when you are able to hit the next level, take yourself from functional already to like even more optimal. And you don't even know
Yes.
your next level until you give yourself the chance to feel that. And most
Mhm.
people are just settling,
Mhm.
right? So that's my
Yeah.
spiel.
I think that is absolutely such a brilliant idea. I want to get a therapist just to talk.
Yeah.
But also your friend can be your therapist for free, you know? If if you have that friend who is a good listener and who is good with, taking your shit, that's the
Yeah.
best.
Do you have
Honestly,
someone
the
like that?
my boyfriend.
Ah!
Yeah.
He's just a
So,
punching bag now.
yeah, he's basically my therapist the past year. I mean, we've been together for a year and I guess I kind of fell in love with him because of his compassion and just how understanding he can be and how he can really listen and what he says back to me is just exactly what I need sometimes. So, he's a great therapist actually. Yeah.
He's definitely got your back. I see it a lot in in the way he shows up for you. And
Mhm.
I think you found yourself quite a wonderful guy, steak and butter.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
And then when
lucky.
you have a little baby, you can name steak and butter baby. You have an Instagram.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
I think that's all for tonight, unless there's something else.
Yeah, I mean, we can do this weekly. I would love to just chat with
I
you.
would love
Yeah.
to chat with you weekly.
Okay, yeah, we can just catch up and
You can keep it
talk about our
accountable.
week with each other. Yeah.
Exactly. Awesome. All right, my fitties, this was the conversation. Thank you for tuning in, being a fly on the wall. If you have any questions, actually, you can post them in the comments below. And Isabella, before we go, why don't you just tell them your Instagram handle and how they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, so I am Steak and Butter Gal, just all spelled out. Steak and Butter GAL on Instagram and YouTube. And if you'd like to hear me play music, then you can go to my Instagram, Opus Bella. So OPUSBELLA.
Yeah, she's amazing on both accounts. I follow them on both.
Thank you.
Tune in. All right. Bye, my fitties. Thank you for tuning in.